We live in an age of smart security. We spend thousands on ring cameras, motion sensors, and high tech deadbolts. We think that because we can see a notification on our iPhone, we're safe. But here's the cold, hard truth: a camera only films your family being traumatized. An alarm system is just a loud noise that tells the intruder they have about 5 minutes before the cops show up. But then there's the Tier 1 protection dog. If you think this is about a pet that barks at the mailman, you are dead wrong. We are talking about an animal that has been selected from a bloodline of warriors, dogs whose ancestors were catching runaway criminals in the 1800s or clearing trenches in World War I. When an armed intruder enters a home protected by one of these animals, they aren't just facing a dog. They are facing 30 million years of predatory evolution refined by modern tactical training. By the end of this, you'll understand why a gun is almost useless against a Belgian Malinois and why the bite is actually the least terrifying part of the encounter. To understand how they stop a man, you have to understand the hardware. Let's look at the Belgian Malinois, or the working line German Shepherd. Their skeleton isn't built like ours. Their spine is a literal spring. When a Malinois launches, they can clear a 6-foot fence from a standstill. They have a power-to-weight ratio that would make a Ferrari engineer jealous. Then there's the olfactory system. A human has about 5 million scent receptors. A Malinois has 225 million. They don't smell an intruder. They process them. They can smell the adrenaline, the sweat of fear, leaking out of an intruder's pores. They can smell the oil on a handgun. They know the intruder is there before the intruder even knows which room they are going to enter. And finally, the jaws. We're talking about a mechanical lever system capable of delivering 300 pounds of pressure per square inch. But it's the molars that do the work. A trained dog doesn't nibble with their front teeth like a puppy. They full mouth bite. They want to get your limb as deep into their throat as possible to maximize leverage. Once that jaw locks, it's not just a wound, it's a mechanical clamp that bypasses your brain's ability to think about anything else but the pain. Most people think a guard dog should bark the moment they hear a noise. Wrong. In high-level protection training, we teach the silent alert. Why? Because if the dog barks, the intruder knows where the dog is. If the dog stays silent, the dog has the element of surprise. Imagine you're the intruder. You've just broken a window. You're creeping through a dark living room with a knife or a pistol. It's quiet. Too quiet. You don't hear a growl. You don't hear a bark. But in the shadows, 80 pounds of muscle is standing perfectly still at the end of the hallway. The dog isn't scared. It's calculating. The dog is waiting for the trigger point. This is usually a doorway or a specific distance. In the dog's mind, there is a red line. Once you cross it, the dog transitions from a domesticated pet to a guided missile. Now, the command is given, or the intruder makes a sudden move. The first thing that hits the intruder isn't the teeth, it's the sound. Have you ever stood 3 feet away from a Malinois doing a protection bark? It's not a woof. It's a deep, guttural vibration that you feel in your diaphragm. It's designed by nature to trigger a flight response in any mammal. The intruder's heart rate spikes to 180 beats per minute instantly. Their fine motor skills evaporate. This is a biological fact. When you are under extreme, sudden stress, your body pulls blood away from your fingers and toes and sends it to your core. This means the intruder can no longer pull a trigger with precision. Their hands start to shake, their vision tunnels. They are now in lizard brain mode, and the lizard is terrified of the wolf. This is the part that Hollywood gets wrong. In the movies, the dog jumps and the guy falls over. In reality, it's much more violent. A protection dog doesn't run at you. They accelerate through you. They are trained to target high-value targets on the body, usually the weapon arm or the tricep. When a Malinois hits an intruder at 25 miles per hour, The kinetic energy is massive. It's like being hit by a swinging sledgehammer wrapped in fur. The dog doesn't just bite, they use their momentum to take the man's feet out from under him. If the intruder has a gun, they are usually looking for a chest high target. But the dog is coming in low and fast. By the time the intruder lowers his sights, the dog has already launched. The impact alone often causes the intruder to drop the weapon or fire a negligent discharge into the floor or ceiling. Once the dog makes contact, the apprehension begins. A pet dog might bite and let go because it's scared of being hit. A tier 1 dog has what we call high fight drive. Being hit actually makes them bite harder. It's a genetic flip in their brain. The more the intruder struggles, the more the dog's prey drive kicks in. Now, look at the thrash. The dog doesn't just sit there. They use their massive neck muscles to shake their head. This isn't just to cause tissue damage, it's to destroy the intruder's balance. Have you ever tried to aim a gun or swing a knife while an 80-pound weight is violently shaking your arm? You can't. You are physically incapable of stabilizing your body. The dog is effectively a gyroscopic disruptor. They are pulling you off your center of gravity. You're going to the ground whether you like it or not. Let's get into the armed part. This is what you're really asking. How do they stop a guy with a gun? Tactical dogs are trained in threat localization. If you are holding a gun, the dog is trained to see that as the primary threat. They will target that arm specifically. When the dog grips the forearm, two things happen. Mechanical failure. The pressure on the radius and ulna, the arm bones, is so intense that the hand's muscles often involuntarily cramp or release. The intruder literally cannot hold onto the gun. Neurological overload. The brain cannot process two types of pain-based information at once. The pain of the bite is so overwhelming that the intent to shoot is erased from the intruder's conscious mind. Even if the intruder manages to fire, a Malinois in drive has an incredible pain tolerance. There are documented cases of canines taking a bullet and finishing the bite because their nervous system is so flooded with adrenaline that the pain signal doesn't reach the brain until the fight is over. This is the part that separates the pros from the amateurs. The out. You see, anyone can train a dog to be mean. That's easy. What's hard, what costs $50,000, is training a dog to stop in the middle of a blood frenzy. Why would a dog run into a bullet for you? It's not for the treats. It's not for the kibble. It's because the Belgian Malinois and the German Shepherd are one person or one family dogs. They don't see themselves as your pet. They see themselves as part of your pack. In their DNA, the safety of the pack is more important than their own life. This isn't loyalty in the human sense. It's biological obligation. When that intruder kicks in your door, he isn't just breaking into a house. He is threatening the alpha's den. The dog isn't fighting for justice. He's fighting for the survival of his world. And that is why he is so much more dangerous than a human guard. A human guard might think about his paycheck. A dog only thinks about your pulse. If you're still thinking about getting one of these dogs after hearing this, you're either a professional or you're crazy. Either way, you need to respect the power of the K9.